Hello and welcome to Mumbai and Manchester. This is Saurabh. I have three very special guests today here with me. We have Saul from MUSC Kolkata. We have Neeraj joining us from San Francisco, and we have Nikhil. Um, so, great win against Aston Villa puts us top uh, with joint top with Liverpool at the start of the year. Um, Great start to the year. Today we are going to look at how 2020 was for United and what we should be looking for in 2021. Before we get started, Manchester United recently published statistics on the year 2020. In 2020, Solskjaer has had more points per game than any other United manager after Sir Alex Ferguson. We have had most number of matches with more than 3 goals scored after Sir Alex Ferguson. And the progression is clear. So with that, I'd like to pose the first question to Saul. What do you think? How do you think was year 2020?
It was absolutely fantastic. I mean, now we can say that it was fantastic. Maybe a month back, not so much. And a month before that, well, it was crazy out there. So, as we can all see, uh, you know, the league has been like very tipsy turvy, like in terms of who's going to win. Even Everton is like losing to West Ham now, and they're still in the top four, by the way. So it's one of those leagues which just goes to tell you that it's not like conventional, way of playing football or whatever the results are at the end of the day, which means a lot of teams are going to have an opportunity that they usually don't. And I think Man United are the underdogs in this league, and now we are joint top. So yeah, I mean, from that point of view, a fantastic improvement in the team after getting knocked out from Champions League. Ole has shown that he has promise, and now that Pochettino is off his back, he's probably gonna like sign for PSG. I think this is the time he can show the world what he can become like as a manager. It's still early days for him. I hope he can keep the momentum and all that. So from my point of view, the memorable moments would be beating PSG, beating Leipzig, and the most forgettable memory would be losing to Leipzig, losing to PSG, and getting knocked out. The match against Spurs was also very embarrassing, but I mean that has been like outdone with the performance on the Premier League right now, where we are like joint top. So yeah, I mean that has to be like one of the main highlights of whatever Ole is trying to do with his philosophy. He keeps on talking about fine margins, and yeah, I mean it is fine margins now. So I'm pretty sure that we have what it takes to keep the momentum and face Liverpool on the 17th and give them a tough fight.
Interesting that your memorable moments came from the Champions League, and we are not in the Champions League anymore.
Yeah.
But we can take positives wherever we can get it. Neeraj, what do you think 2020 was for Manchester United?
It was a step in the right direction. It was all the signs showing that what Ole brought in was moving towards what people expect from a Manchester United team. Initially, as soon as Bruno came in, that's how our 2020 started. And there was a big positive surge with him in the team, especially after the lockdown game started. And that, I think, positive run was not backed up by the board by buying the right players. I think that was one thing that we look back and see that, this could have been much better if we had Sancho right there. So that was the first blip after the positive run. And we kind of found a grit in the team where we came back from losing positions and won games away from home, which kind of showed the character. And the other slightly bad part of the season was the bad home form in the beginning of this season. But I think we have worked on it, and you can see the difference in the way the team plays now. It has more intent, there is more bite, and we actually look like we're going to score when we have the ball, which has been missing for I don't know how many years now. And it's very hopeful. the place we are in the table right now gives us some hope of being in contention by February or March. Not being in the Champions League may turn out a good thing for us if we're not as focused on it and we can focus on the league. So fingers crossed and just hoping for the best. And yeah, I really, really wish the Ole and his team a really good rest of the season now.
Great that you bring up the non-performance by the board, because it's important to talk about the board not backing the manager when we are doing well, and not just when the team is not doing well and they're dropping points and the team is struggling. I think we, especially this being 1st of January, with the transfer window giving us an opportunity to further strengthen our team and establish or build on the foundations that we have laid for this season. I think we should we should look to keep the pressure on the board. We should still have the Glazers out, Woodward out, Matt Judge out campaign going as much as possible. The spotlight should still be on them every transfer window and even between transfer windows. So great that you brought that up. Nikhil, how was 2020 for Manchester United?
I'd say 2020 overall has been a really good year for us. We have seen a lot of progress under Ole. I myself was a skeptic when it comes to Ole being a good tactician, and I've seen those tactics actually evolve, or at least I'm seeing them being implemented in different kinds of games. Yep. Today was an example, right? When we started, Pogba played on the left, and that actually worked for us. But yeah, in general terms, I wouldn't have expected Pogba to be on the left side. But yeah, over the course of a year, I have seen, like, I wouldn't want to attribute all the success to Bruno as some of the other fans would do. Bruno's stats are phenomenal, but I would also attribute this to Ole's man management. A lot of young players, especially when you consider Martial under Mourinho, Rashford, even though he was growing, he still didn't have that finish, which he's still working on. Shaw, who was pretty much broken under Mourinho, he's now resurging. So Ole's man management over 2020 has shown and has reaped benefits, in my opinion. We are seeing the team playing the kind of football that Manchester United would play under Sir Alex. It's free-flowing football. It is brave of us to really go on the front foot and attack. That again has that has been a progression as well. There were a lot of games even under mid-table teams where we would actually sit back and just counter. Now we are seeing our players are much braver. They have better ball control, and all that comes to the drills and the tactics that he might be working in the background slightly, like fine-tuning it slowly, which is probably coming to the fore as we are seeing today. And I'm hoping, like, going into 2021, that continues, takes us forward. Even if we don't win anything, I would still like this progression, because at the end of the day, if we continue this way, there's a really good future for us under Ole.
Yeah. No, and you bring up a great point. There are goals in this team, which was the main difference between our 2019 and 2020. You could see goals coming in from different parts of the team, different types of goals that this team can score. So great point there. So I know Saul mentioned his memorable moments, forgettable results. Neeraj, your memorable moment of 2020?
The Bruno goal on the counter, I forgot against which team it was, but Matic played the ball to Greenwood.
Oh wow! Yeah.
And Bruno finished it. I think that was it.
Yeah.
It was my most memorable, I think.
Your forgettable moment of 2020?
The goal against Tottenham where Harry Maguire pulled back Luke Shaw or somebody, and yeah, the Tottenham game.
Nikhil, memorable moment?
For me, I'd choose one of the recent ones. I would have actually said the same what Neeraj mentioned. The one where Matic played that ball and eventually Bruno finished through a Mason Greenwood cross. Yeah. But the recent one against Sheffield United, that play from like a throw-in which Sheffield had. We stole it, and then Pogba played that ball and a quick interchange between Martial, Rashford, Bruno, and then that final flourish, finish in a way that was simply like exhilarating to see. Like that was a typical Man United goal. And actually, there have been many cases, right?
Yeah.
This season, we have seen a lot of cases where we have fallen behind and then come back with like that energy. And I would say there are multiple moments for me, at least in 2020, 21. So yeah. As for the forgettable moment, I would say getting knocked out of Champions League, because I didn't expect us to even be at the top of the group after like 3 or 4 games, uh, having played in that Champions League, and then losing out to PSG and Leipzig the way we did, especially the Leipzig game. I thought the way we beat them in the first leg, I was hoping that we would actually at least try to get a draw or match them and get away and at least finish second in the group. So that would be a disappointing moment, because I hate being in the Europa League. I hope we don't focus too much on the Europa League, because our focus should be on the Premier League. Keep challenging Liverpool as much, get that cup, get that Premier League title, 21st in 2021. And yeah, hopefully that will get the floodgates open the floodgates for us.
Yeah. So, Saul, if you were to rate Solskjaer out of 10 in 2020, how much would you give him?
I think I'll probably give him a 6.5 or something. And I'm not trying to, be pessimistic here. It's just that I think he has a lot of potential, because firstly, I think he's extremely lucky to have the United job. With his CV, I don't think he would get a job in any of the top 4 teams in any league. So the fact that he gets to be the manager of the club that he used to play for and was a legend, he's extremely lucky. Also, the fans are always going to back him. When we compare Louis van Gaal, David Moyes, Mourinho, yeah, great managers. But then at the end of the day, this is a club legend who's managing the club. So he's always going to have fans, backing him. So that's a plus point for him. And ultimately, I think he has a very good relationship with Sir Alex as well. I'm not sure how much of that materializes in his gameplay or whatever style his management style is, but you can see hints of that, like favoring certain players, trusting them, rotating the squad. This is what Sir Alex is. I mean, of course, it's not the same team and it's not the same players, but then it's all about the philosophy. And if we as fans, we think that there's a certain way Manchester United plays and that's what we like, and if this guy can actually replicate that and show us that, at least we are on the path of doing that, I think that's a pretty big boost for him. So my 6.5 is just from a basis that if we can be joint top in 6.5, if we can improve as a manager and, get matured, I think this is, from a long-term point of view, we are in very safe hands. So, yeah.
Neeraj?
It's difficult to put a number on a manager like that, because sometimes the tactics work but the players don't perform, and sometimes the manager does not do the right team selection or something like that. I think for Ole, he can improve his substitutions. Sometimes his substitutions work well, especially when we go behind in the first half, and then he does all the right changes. So there's improvement needed in team selection and tactics. There's improvement in substitutions, and sometimes I put down the bad starting very slowly, down to a combination of the players and how the manager sends them out. And we've seen that happen a lot this season. So there's a lot of room for him to improve on. It's very good for him that he's in the position that he is, being so top of the table after the performances that we've had in the beginning of the season. So I think 6.57 is a good marker, given that he has kept the team in contention so far with these performances and managed to keep the squad happy.
Yeah. Nikhil?
Yeah, I would borrow both the points made by Saul and Neeraj. I echo the same thoughts. But if I have to rate him, I would say 7. I wouldn't go higher than that. And uh, as I said, we need to win titles to really rate Solskjaer higher.
Yeah.
We really need to win more cups. We did reach 3 semifinals last season, so that was definitely an improvement, I would say. This season, we need to convert those into wins, go into those finals, get those titles, even if it's an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup, maybe hopefully not a Europa League. But yeah, that once he starts winning those for us with this team, then I would probably rate him higher than some of the top managers in the Premier League currently.
Yeah.
But he's definitely looks like he is there. He has the confidence of the players, so that's all we need at the moment.
Yeah. We need the players to believe in the manager. We need the fans to believe in the manager, and we need the board to believe in the manager. So we know 2 out of the 3 are true. And we can figure out which one needs to massively improve. All right. If you had to pick your top 3 performers of 2020.
Obviously, number one is going to be Bruno Fernandes, the fire starter. He has changed the whole dynamics of how we play, what we believe in, and the whole potential of what we can do. Like, this year, next season, 2 more seasons after that, if he keeps on playing however he's playing right now. I think the second person on my list would definitely be Fred. I think this guy has improved a lot. When he was signed by Mourinho, he was just looked at, desperate by with 40 million or 45, I'm not sure. But then I think he has become one of the, the trusted compartner of Solskjaer's team in the central defending, midfield position. So, and he is one of those players who go on very hard, like when they're trying to defend. So it's pretty exciting to see someone like that. He puts in all of his heart and soul into the game. So that's why he's my number 2. My number 3 would definitely be Marcus Rashford. Again, if he can convert some of the chances that he misses, I think he's got great potential. Even in today's match, he was phenomenal. I mean, I know there were some instances where he could have connected well with the ball and taken a better shot, but at the same time, the way he controls the ball, the way he dribbles, his pace. I mean, I look at him as the English Mbappe. He has the potential to be one of the best in the world. And yeah, I mean, he's always going to be in the top 3. So these are my 3 players.
No, love to hear that Fred makes the top 3, because he certainly is. If Rashford can be the English Mbappe, Fred can be the Brazilian Kante for this team. So, and Neeraj, your top 3?
Yeah, I have the same 3.
Oh.
Bruno on number 1. I think Rashford is number 2 for me, and Fred is on number 3. And yeah, just all 3 of them have had an exceptional year.
Okay. Nikhil?
So I would actually not consider Bruno in that league at all. He's way above that league. Like, if I have to consider top performers, the way he came from Portuguese league to the Premier League, and he has continued that stride, very few players do. I don't remember the last player who did that. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to say that because it's a given. He's the top performer anyways. But if I have to choose first, I will say Fred here. Fred has made tremendous improvement. And like he seems like a player whose name would go on the team sheet first. Like Ole would be putting that name first if he's fit. Rashford would be the second one. And for me, third, I would say Luke Shaw. I simply wanted Luke Shaw out of the club, to be honest. Like a year and a half ago, I didn't want him. And I'm seeing a lot of improvement. Like, I think Telles coming in this summer window, I think that has sparked something in him. Like, he has probably seen Telles crossing the ball or making those overlapping runs. And he's like, that has kind of reignited like the fire that he had back at Southampton. So yeah, I would say Shaw would be that third guy.
The fact that we want to sneak in the 4th name in your top 3 tells us that there are more good players than bad in this team. So well done, Nikhil. Bottom three performers, Saul.
Well, I think we'll be looking at the defense mostly. So I'm going to combine Harry Maguire and Lindelof as one entity, just because I think their chemistry doesn't work. Both of them are really slow. I mean, we can see the change in the style of play with Eric Bailly in the team, like in the last two games, right? We play in a higher line. He's always there to intercept, the odd ball that's been passed. And I just don't think, Harry Maguire and Lindelof work well together, and it's not to single out any one of them, it's just the chemistry, it doesn't work. So that's, I think it's been very disappointing, and the fact that Ole has been playing them for, I don't know, 15-20 games at a stretch without a break, and Lindelof is injured now. I mean, so that's a downer, and we don't have a lot of backups when it comes to central defense, right? So that's number one. Number two, I think I'm going to say it's Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And the reason why I say that is because he had a very phenomenal season last season, and he was really good. But even today, like, he had a pretty good game. I think he made the right interception. He actually assisted a goal, which is like extremely rare. But I mean, the goal that we conceded as well, it was completely on him, because I don't know what he was doing there, like chatting with the referee and stuff like that. He should be back in his position, or just try to stop the ball, get a yellow card for the team, whatever. So I think that's a downer. And also, I mean, except for today's game, when we look at Manchester United playing another team, our attacks are mostly from the left-hand side. And that is purely because of how Wan-Bissaka is as a right back, right? So we are dependent for his defensive skills, but when it comes to offense, he's not that great. And that's something I personally think that we need to change. It's like, say, for example, from a January transfer window, get someone like, I don't care, get someone like Trippier in. I know he's old and stuff, but then he's probably at the last phase of his career, but he's more attacking, right? The same thing that we are seeing on the left-hand side with Telles and Shaw. He needs someone to compete, and that's going to probably help Wan-Bissaka improve his game as well. I'm pretty sure they're working on him on the training ground, because he was going forward today. There was a change in the rhythm he generally plays in. So it's going to be my number two. My number three is definitely going to be Scott McTominay. I think without a doubt, hands down, he's a blue-eyed child of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ferguson backed him as well. Mourinho backed him. There's just something about him that managers like. And I think he was the only bang average player on the field today. He made a lot of misplaced passes. He couldn't hold the ball. And I'm glad the Solskjaer changed him and got Matic in as quickly as he could, because we've seen Solskjaer make the changes pretty late. So I think Scott McTominay does not fit into the team as a central defensive midfield player. He's more of like a box-to-box player. He's got a good height. He's got good aerial ability as well. So maybe he can be important there. So yeah, I mean, those are my three players.
Interesting that McTominay might appear on the worst performers and also maybe the most improved performers under Ole. That shows you where he started off with.
Yeah.
Maybe he's still not in the top performers, but he's not meeting the Manchester United standards yet. So
yeah.
Good that you brought that up. Neeraj, your bottom three?
Bottom three, I would say these are the players who didn't meet the expectations. So they're not the worst players in the club, of course. I would say one is David De Gea, because he has set exceptionally high standards for himself that he did not meet this season or this year. In defense, I'm gonna say I expect more from Harry Maguire. Again, not a bottom performer, but I think there's more expected from both. Again, Lindelof and Maguire. I don't think they match what's needed from a solid defense. In midfield, I want to say Pogba, because he has disappointed some, but he hasn't been the worst performer as such, but he has not met the expectations that are required from him. And in attack, Daniel James, I don't think he has the intelligent decision making that's required in the final third. He sometimes lacks that. So I really like him, for his attitude and his grit. I just hope he develops some more quality in the final third.
Yeah. I fear Dan James might end up becoming a Pereira kind of winger. He has all the right ingredients, but somehow the end product does not taste well. It tastes good. It does not come together as it should. Nikhil, your bottom three?
My bottom three, I'd start with Pogba, to be honest. Pogba, as a fan, I have huge expectations. He came at a huge price tag. And whether it's injuries or whatever, he has been a disruptor. He has not played the role of a teammate. And he has been constant cause of problem for the club for the past 3 or 4 years. And this coupled with his performances, even though some of his recent ones have been good, I think he is not a player worth to be at Manchester United. I think there are better players out there who will give it all, even if he might be giving some good performances. I think his consistency is a big issue overall. So yeah, Pogba would definitely be one. James, as usual, I would say when he came with that electrifying pace, I was hoping he would develop into that player who would have that end product, but he doesn't, unfortunately. But he might still be a good squad player to have, just as we did today. And for certain games where there would be less of he could be much more impactful overall. The third player, I would actually agree with what Saul said, Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka defensively was superb last season, between Feb and summer, or I would say entire 2019-2020 season. This season, I don't know what has gotten into him, but he's caught a lot out of position. And cases where he should be closer to a player, he's away and he's closer to center backs, and vice versa. And I don't know why that is happening. Is he not reading the game well enough? Plus, the most frustrating part, if we have to talk about buying another right back after spending 50 million on a player, and a player who was a winger as a youth player at Crystal Palace, it's, I would say, it's a bit shameful. And I don't know how can't we not figure out a solution for it? How are we not able to improve? I also put blame on him because I am not seeing a whole lot of attack, an output from an attack standpoint. I'm not seeing a whole lot of crosses. We got a lucky cross today. The goal was, again, a headed goal, which is something that we don't usually score. He definitely needs to work a lot. He is not there. He's not there yet. He has actually fallen off the level that he was last season. So yeah.
Okay. All brave choices, though. I would have expected one of you to go with someone like Rojo, Jones, or Lingard, who barely got any minutes on the pitch. But all brave choices. I think this tells us that there is improvement in the squad, in the players who have played on the pitch and who can continue to contribute in a much greater proportion. All right. So the final question for everyone: what would a good 2021 be? Saul?
So from my perspective, I don't think it's still realistic to think that we are going to win the league, just because of, when you look at teams like Liverpool and Man City, and even if you look at the league, it's been a haywire league, right? I mean, you cannot predict matches, you cannot predict scores, you cannot predict lineups, anything. So, but from a top four point of view, we are at a very healthy position. So that's really great. I mean, the way we started the league, top four was like a dream to us, and I think from that perspective, we have improved a lot. So hopefully, we'll be able to stay in the top four, which I'm pretty much sure. So from a season point of view, if we can, finish in top 3 or top 2, that's great. Of course, if we win the league, people are going to go crazy. I already have my friends who've said that if we win the league, we're going to just go naked and run in the streets. I mean, so many people have said that, so it'll be fun to see that. I haven't said something like that because some part of me kind of thinks that we might, and I'm not that person who would do something like that. But at the same time, not focus on the Europa League much. Get in people like Van der Beek, Van der Beek there, like give him some time, game time, play some players who don't often get a lot of, like someone like, you know, Palestri, give Lingard a chance, you know, focus on the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, like you guys said. I mean, I do believe that it's not just about the Premier League. Solskjaer needs to win at least one silverware to tell people that, you know, that he's improving, that, you know, we are going somewhere. So that's important. And yeah, I mean, just to maintain the momentum in the Premier League.
Okay. Neeraj?
I would say silverware is a must this season. And just to not be in the race for the 4th position, but being comfortably in 2nd or 3rd. If we win, that's just an extremely big bonus. But yeah, be comfortably in the top 4 and win some silverware, FA Cup or Carabao Cup or Europa, whatever.
Yeah, Nikhil?
Yeah, I would agree with Neeraj. We need to finish comfortably in the 2nd position. I think winning the title is a bit far-fetched. We're just 16 games into the league and there's a long way to go. And Liverpool now, compared to us, their players have much more experience winning silverware. So they would be mentally much more ready to get through this difficult period where we are playing like 2-3 games every week. So I would say comfortably finishing 2nd, not really having that rat race of who is going to finish 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, just as we did last season. I don't want to be in that. I really hope we win the FA Cup. FA Cup would be a really good silverware to have this season. That FA Cup gave us great boost in 1990s under Sir Alex, or 1991, when he was going to be sacked, and then we won that, and that brought him back into contention again. I hope that magic works again for Solskjaer similarly, and then we go on a title winning spree. Carabao Cup, yeah, if we can get into finals, maybe, yeah, that would be fine. But yeah, FA Cup I think is a must. That silverware would give these young players a good taste of what it is like winning a title under Solskjaer. I know they have won, some of these players have won under Mourinho and Van Gaal, but yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. So silverware this season is the barometer for success, as per all of you, and I agree with that. So with that, thank you so much for watching this video. Continue to like, share, subscribe, give comments on what we should be making videos on. Leave the comments and we'll try to match your expectations, exceed your expectations, like Bruno, Rashford, and Fred. All right. See you.
Right.